for the first time, welcome to our YouTube channel. This is the Heart Property Managers. We are registered real estate agents in Nairobi, and we are delighted to share with you what is happening in the real estate world, what is happening in the real estate market. So today we are sharing what we started last week about the procedure that you need to use when buying real estate in Kenya. So we are specifically saying in Kenya because every country have their own rules and regulations on the procedures of buying property. And last week we started by explaining the first step that you need to take when you're purchasing a property in Kenya, whether it's a house or a plot. The first step we mentioned that you need to visit the property by yourself and see the location if it is actually existing. Once you've visited the property, you've gone to the location, request for the title deed, a copy of the title deed. That title deed will help you to get the LR number, and then you do a search on the property. After doing a search of the property, you need to visit the Ministry of Lands. You get the map of the area so that you can see the demarcation. You check your beacons and see the main road, whether this area is near a public, whether the land that is being sold to you is legit. Is it a genuine property, or is it a public land, as it is called right now, that has been converted by an individual? You'll be able to help. So within the map, with the help of a surveyor, you'll be able to know that. If you are buying land in rural areas, you require to visit the chief office, the location office for the chief. Why I'm saying that? Because right now it's a requirement by the government that if you're selling community land, you need to get consent from the family. For example, if a man is selling a piece of land, you need to visit the chief with the family members, the wife and the children who are living, to give consent. They'll write and say, yes, as a family, we've agreed to sell 1 acre part of our land, blah, blah, blah. Avoid purchasing property from individual family, like community land, without going to the chief. Make time and go to the chief's office. Say you are trying to purchase land in the location. The person will be summoned to the chief, and then you'll write a consent from there. That will help you to avoid future conflicts with the family members. There are many cases where people purchase land, and thereafter some family members, especially children, will come up and say they didn't give consent for that property to be sold, and so that is their birthright, and you'll get into trouble. In such cases, the government cannot protect you. If you buy community land without getting consent from the family, I mean, here in the case we're talking about the children, then of course even banks are not allowed to give loans on family property without the rest of the family members being informed about it. So in that case, if you do that, then you'll get into trouble. Make sure you get their consent, their ID numbers, and the liaison from the chief, and agree, yeah, we've agreed to sell our piece of land. At that point, when you've already used a surveyor to confirm that the property that you are selling is indeed a private property, I mean private land, and the person who is selling to you is indeed the owner, or they have the right to sell it. If it is a family property, the family has already consented to sell it, then now you can negotiate for that property. If you've negotiated for the property, if, for example, you are being asked to pay $1 million, you can negotiate whatever price that you feel is suitable for the property, and then you do a sales agreement. A sale agreement will assist you in the whole process of confirming your sale. So do a sale agreement. Once you've done the sale agreement, then you put down a deposit. The legal requirement for deposit is usually 10% of the sale price, but depending with you, or depending in the agreement that you've written with the owner of the property, you might find yourself paying 20% or 50%, depending on how much you can afford, as long as you don't pay the whole amount. Do not pay the whole amount until the full transfer is done. Just pay some bit of the money. If it is 1 million, you can decide to pay 100,000 or 30,000, depending on how you agree with the owner, depending on also how much paperwork needs to be done. If the title is under their name, you've already gotten a consent from the rest of the family members that the property can be sold. If it is a community land, if it is land in urban areas, of course you don't need to go through the process of getting consent of the family members. So if you already verified the rest of the document, then it is easy. Just go on and start the process of paying your 10%. Get a lawyer. Don't allow yourself to be overcharged. Get a lawyer who is willing to negotiate a good fee for drawing for you the sale agreement. Once you done the down payment, you book an appointment with the lands board. There's a fee that is normally paid when you want to book the lands board. I think the last time I was trying to buy a property in Isinya, the lawyer did it for me. The booking to get the lands board to look at the documents so that they can approve the sale is 1,000 shillings, I believe. Yeah, it was 1,000 bob. So you can pay, you book that appointment through a lawyer or someone. So the board will give consent for the property to be transferred to you. At that point, then of course you'll proceed and start the transfer process. So the title deed will cost you about 5,000 shillings to get your own title deed. So once the board has approved, they've given consent that it's clean, everything is in order, you'll get a consent, and that is the time that you're required now to start the follow-up of your title deed. You pay the 5,000, you send your KRA PIN, you send copy of your ID, 2 passport sizes. Then, of course, like all sales of land, usually there's stamp duty. Stamp duty is 4% of the sale price in urban centers, land bought within urban centers. If you're buying ushago, like in rural areas, you pay 2% of your sale price. So if you're buying land for 500,000, your stamp duty will be 4% of 500,000 in urban center, but it will be 2% in rural areas. So once you know all this that we've mentioned here, plus much more information that you can get from us, if you inquire, you can send us an email at manager@heartproperty.co.ke to inquire more information. You can also follow our social media pages. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on your notification, because we'll also be identifying topics that you want us to talk about, and then we'll talk about them and share them on our YouTube channel. So we really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for all those people who have subscribed. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Let us continue empowering each other by sharing information that is relevant, that can help us also grow as we continue investing in real estate. Don't forget to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up and also comment. Thank you. Until next week. Bye.